Hi, I am Mike Bevel, and this is a project I am calling Footnotes. Like a lot of my projects, I will probably get a third of the way through and then drop it. So let me tell you what the project is. I am my interests and my expertise is 19th century. Boy, this shirt could use an ironing. My mama would say, it looks like it's been stuck up old holy rear end. And that's a disgusting statement. She said a lot of disgusting things that didn't seem disgusting at the time, but then I would pull them out like in casual conversation, and people would give me a face. Like I can read faces most of the time. I don't like to look at faces. Faces are an obligation to attention. And anyway, that's not what we're talking about. My specialty is 19th century literature and culture, primarily in England, a little bit in America. It should be the other way around because I'm American and not English. But England just caught on. And calling myself that is a lie, by the way, because I have never read or finished the book Middlemarch by George Eliot. I have started it several times. I've made it maybe, I think the farthest I've made it is 100 pages, and I just can't. So I'm going to force myself. And that's what this is. So this is just the introductory video. We're not going to read anything from Middlemarch to each other. Well, I'm not going to read it to you because you can read it to me. I won't hear it. We'll work on the technology. I'm going to read to you. And we're going to just a chapter a day. And every day I will take a moment and read one chapter of Middlemarch into a camera. If this is, if you came here, and I don't know how you got here, but if you came here thinking, oh, I'm going to just put this, like, I don't want to read Middlemarch for book group, I'll just listen to this because, well, I mean, clearly, just look at this face. This is a face you want to listen to. Ow, that was my wedding ring. This is not the way to read Middlemarch because what's going to happen is I'm going to stop a lot while reading. So I'm going to read Middlemarch, but I'm also going to footnote Middlemarch for you in places where I know something, and maybe your copy has footnotes, but maybe I have footnotes that your copy doesn't have. Who knows? And some of the footnotes are going to be historical, and some of the footnotes are going to be social, and a lot of the footnotes are going to be opinions. How to read a book. By the way, I don't know how to edit video, so you're just getting everything. Like, if I fall off track and never get back again, that's just staying in. Eventually, I'm going to learn. I have a lot of fancy things on my computer, but I don't know. There's just something about learning that's so exhausting. Anyway, I'm going to read through Middlemarch, one chapter a day. We'll see if I finish. I doubt I will. That's a way to set yourself up for success, Mike. That's good. Good. And then, I don't know, maybe I will do another book next. They probably have to be in the public domain so I do not get sued. And I don't think, I don't know how litigious the Norton Critical Edition people are. I'm going to read from their book, but it's her copy and it's in the public domain. I don't want to read off Gutenberg on the screen because I don't have to explain. Because fuck you, I don't know. It's not what I want to do. There's going to be language. Sometimes, not a lot. I will try to not be a super potty mouth because you should probably have more words in your vocabulary than those, though they are good words. Like, I'm not against cursing. I just think maybe sometimes it's gratuitous, and it certainly was gratuitous before. What can I tell you? Oh, why? Let's, yeah. Why me? Why are you? Why should you listen to me? Um, I have 20 years of uh, study behind me uh, in the literature of the time, in the history of the time. Not so much. I mean, I know of the wars. I could not have a long conversation with you about the Boer War, for example, the Ruhr. Um, and then it becomes too late, and Liz can't ask. It's very funny. You should see that episode of 30 Rock. um, yeah, I'm noticing a lot of ums. Those are going to get better, I bet, as I do this more and I pause and slow my brain down. It sometimes goes a little too fast for my mouth, and my mouth says, "Whoa, let's hang up a second and figure out how you want us to say all those words, brain." And then we end up with an and that's my signal to you that things have gone off track between what I want to say and what I'm thinking. I can't think of anything. I mean, if you want to know other things about me, certainly ask. I can't promise I'm going to answer them. I don't know that it matters much who I am. What matters is the text and uh, these characters. So when I do read, uh, I am probably, I'll do something like this. So it's going to be a lot of, I mean, just get used to this area of my head as I look down and read. And then I look up when I want to stop for a second. And I'm going to try a couple different things. Don't you love hearing someone talk through the process, like the thing that they should have talked to themselves about and then done the finished thing rather than you watching it from the beginning? But we also watch all those weird home improvement shows where we are doing nothing but sitting on the couch eating. Um, this would be a bag of primarily popcorn Jelly Bellies. I am not supported by Jelly Belly. Is not a proud sponsor of what I'm doing. No one is. George Eliot, maybe if I get her right. Let's hope I get her right. I think she's an interesting. She's an interesting figure in the 19th century. She is. I don't know that she would call herself an atheist, but she is definitely not a believer. And you're going to say to yourself, well, that's an atheist, Mike. And I'm going to say to you, words don't mean the same thing year after year. And sometimes words don't exist until later. And and sometimes people had different ways of talking about themselves. So there were no scientists necessarily in the 19th century. There were natural philosophers. Um, they become scientists later when we get that word in our vocabulary up and running and good to go. So she is, again, I don't think she would identify as an atheist, but her point of view is definitely a religious. And I think one of the things that George Eliot is very interested in exploring, especially at this moment in England. So she's writing, when was Middlemarch published? Middlemarch was published, well, we're going to use the 1874 edition. So she's a later Victorian. And where was I going with this? See, here we go. I was going somewhere. I forgot because the mouth and the brain went off on different places. Oh, so George Eliot decides that she is going to explore a moral world without a God. Because one of the arguments that stays with us today is that without religion, you can't be moral. That there's nothing, that religion is what provides the moral structure to our life. And I think religion is a moral structure to life, or it can be. It's often an immoral structure to people's life. But George Eliot says you can be a very moral person and not rely on God, and you can do wicked things and not rely on God as either a scapegoat or someone to offer absolution. Like that needs to, I think she really feels that's something you do for yourself. It's a little, the concept I just described is very modern, and I don't think she would use those words. But if we sat down and talked to each other, it would be weird because she's been dead for a while. So it either means that she is back from the dead and I've got a ghost in my house, and I'm lukewarm at best about having a ghost in my house. Like, part of me thinks that would be interesting, and then part of me thinks, oh, no, thank you. Just because of the noises. And then also, lots of weird things happen with people and ghosts. And what I'm curious about is not for this podcast. No, I'll just say it. I'll say what I'm curious about. This is just me rambling, and you're getting to understand what I am like as a communicator, this is it. So if you are frustrated by this, I would not continue. Absolutely not. In fact, I would cancel your YouTube and just run away, because it's not going to get any better. But the demographics of those TV shows where people come in to tell stories about a haunting in their house. And it's interesting, I think it's interesting that not a lot of, well, that's wrong. See, I was going to say, you don't see, it's if I knew how to edit, I would edit a lot of what I just started to say, because I think I'm headed down a road that I don't want to go down. Not because, well, because I don't think I have all the right information. Let's forget that I said anything. Those ghost interview shows are awfully weird. Many women wear very dramatic eyeshadow for their interviews. They all seem to be, there seems to be a class of people who want to be on reality television. And that's all we can say about that. Anyway, hi, once again, my name is Mike Bevel. This is going to be called Footnotes. We're going to start with Middlemarch, and we will start with the prelude and work our way through. I said I would do this daily. I'm almost positively not going to do this daily. I'm not going to do any voices, which means I'm probably going to do some voices. I'm not an actor, so I'm going to do those voices poorly. I may not necessarily be great at differentiating who's saying what by making the voices distinct, because I have a tough enough time being me. I can't figure out, and it's such a tightly controlled me. This, I know it seems chaotic to you, this sort of, oh, what if I called it Joycean? That would be very, very dickish. But this is, I speak this way. I speak this way. That's just what it is. I this is what I sound like. This is how a conversation with me would probably go. I would pause more, because I like to listen as much as I like to talk. Anyway, that's it. That's all we're going to talk about this time. This is the introduction to Footnotes. You can reach me at mbevel at, that's my work address. I won't give you that. mbevel@gmail.com. If you want to say anything, and you don't have to. No one has to. It's your one wild and precious life. Do with it what you will. But we're best friends now, and if you've made it this far, especially, we're best friends. Or you hate watch to the end to see if it got any better. Notice it didn't, and we will come back next time. That is it.